This is a picture of Arlong and his henchman. He kind of reminds me of Dick with eyes. I don't like him very much, but follow me on the Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook for more pictures of penis-like men like this.
One Piece, Chapter 92, Happiness.
Well, hello and welcome, my brothers and sisters of the Nerd Nation. I, as always, am Jim, here to bring you another review on the tantalizing and epic action-filled tale of One Piece. Our last chapter left us with really Arlong jumping in the water and utilizing his fishman abilities to their fullest. He has been firing himself out of the water and blindsiding Luffy and kind of attacking him like a torpedo nose first, using his patented shark darts technique. So at the end of the chapter, Luffy's basically just like everybody, Usopp's going, "You gotta hide, get out of the way, he's in the water again." And Luffy's like, "Nope." He's like, "I am gonna knock him out." So Luffy has gotten that tunnel vision, and that's how the chapter ends and then, of course, begins. What he does immediately is he goes and he takes and holds his one hand up, takes his other hand and stretches it out and says, "Gomu Gomu," shield. So he creates a shield by stretching his fingers out over in front of him, or a net, so to speak, I guess you would say. Obviously, he has the elasticity because of the rubber, the power to stretch and be rubber-like. So when he goes and when Arlong does come and fire himself out of the water, and everybody thinks, "Oh, he's got him," right? Luffy is able to stop him short of, because Arlong's under the water going, "Oh, I've built up twice the momentum and speed that I had last time," and he's thinking, "I'm going to skewer his heart, I'm going to kill him." Comes flying out of the water at him and does wind up coming directly at him to nail him, but comes up just short because his nose kind of sticks through the fingers, but ultimately Luffy is able to, with that shield, hold him back from him. So it still doesn't exactly turn the tide, so to speak, but it certainly does it piss him off. So because he winds up going back in and trying the shark darts move again. Luffy is able to get a few hits on him. It's kind of a back and forth fiasco, and then Luffy goes and as he goes and gets popped up in the air again and gets nailed by Arlong, he goes and he stretches out and goes "Gomu Gomu," and he does like this finger net, and he takes his fingers and wraps them around, stretches them and wraps them around and intertwines them in a net, and then says, "I'm going fishing," and he's able to grab Arlong because he was propelled up into the air when he got hit, and Arlong on his way back into the water, he's able to stretch his fingers around him, grab him, then he's able to go "Gomu Gomu," spear, and go and just launch himself into him and jack him up, which is nice because certainly Arlong has got a big mouth and a big fucking head, and you just like to see him get slapped around. At least I personally do. So Arlong winds up kind of hitting the ground there, and you're thinking, okay, whatever. Maybe now he's finally turned the tides. Maybe he's knocked him out. Maybe this is getting close to the battle being won, for Luffy. And what happens is you see a shot of Arlong's face and his eyes, and he goes nuts. He goes into like this berserk mode, kind of like I don't know if it's sharks or if it's crocodiles that do, but they their eyes change. Or maybe it's even snakes. It's some kind of reptile, I think. But their eyes kind of change and they just sort of go feral and just go completely crazy. And a couple of people mention as well, "Oh my God, Nami says he's gone into berserk mode, which is basically like crazy overdrive, crack-headed mode for fishmen, right?" So he starts coming at Luffy, and nailing him and everything, and hitting him left and right. And then he goes and he pulls out the shark saw, and this thing is actually really cool looking, man. I gotta say, it looks like basically it looks similar to like a chainsaw, like a jagged blade, kind of like his nose, but jagged on the one side, and just looks like it's this like 6 or 8 foot blade that he's wielding. And so he's beating Luffy left and right, and it's certainly not looking good for him. And even even the commenters on the side where he's kind of sitting on the side, the spectators are like, "Oh my God, Luffy's losing." Luffy winds up getting nailed by Arlong and getting spun end over end, propelled up against the building, the 3 or 4 story building of Arlong Park, right? And just and just like something straight out of like a movie, or like a cartoon, I guess, an action cartoon, and Anyway, and he winds up getting knocked into the building. And then they're like, oh, they're taking the fight into the building, and it's the top room on the left. And Nami goes, oh, the chart room, right? And I'm assuming this is going to be a significant area or room or place, but you then go and you see Arlong and Luffy in this chart room, and Luffy's like, what the hell with all these, charts and all this paper? What the hell is this, basically? And Arlong goes and takes the time amongst, hating him and wanting to kill him to describe to him and do the evil guy thing and give him the kind of monologue of, this is the chart room. This is where I have been gathering charts for the last 8 years, and Nami has been drawing these charts for me. This is the key. This island is basically like the key, to the East Blue, and pretty much to taking over the East Blue, I guess, is his goal, and maybe even branching out into some of the other seas and maybe even the Grand Line. I don't know. But Luffy goes and notices, because he's kind of like, okay, whatever, and he's sitting on the ground, and he goes and he looks and he says, and then Arlong says too about Nami, she's a genius and blah blah blah. But Luffy goes and looks and he picks up this pen, and I found this significant. He picks up the pen and he goes, hey, there's blood on this pen. So I don't know if he would force Nami to draw these charts and write them in her own blood, or if she didn't want to draw the ones that he wanted to, if he would torture her, cut her, beat her. I don't know. I'm sure that we will find out, but that's just kind of my prediction. So I guess I asked a question at the end of the last chapter, and I'll ask one again here once I wrap things up. But that's just about the end of it. But basically, Arlong says, yeah, Nami's a genius. If you have her on your crew or that type of thing, kind of like hypothetically speaking, if you were to beat me, how would you use her? And Luffy is like, he does not like that at all, right? And the page or the chapter ends with a big, kind of almost like a spread of him, just going, use? Now, I don't know if in the translations that other people have read it's something different or whatever, but I basically took at it as like, what the fuck are you talking about? I don't use people, people aren't slaves to me. They come of their own free will, and they come because they believe in me and my goals and what their goals are, and they want to be part of something. So I think my question in this one, because I don't want anybody really giving anything away as far as things go, but my question is just for people that know, like I said, don't definitively tell me, but my question for this chapter is going to be, as far as it goes with Arlong and the blood on the pen. What would you think? What are your predictions for what that would be? Is it just a coincidence that there's some blood on the pen, or do you think that maybe I'm onto something and that maybe Arlong did, force her, while torturing her, or force her to draw these maps of all these different areas and all these charts, of the ocean and the islands and everything else in her own blood? So. Definitely appreciate the feedback in the last one. We'll keep it going with these here, and certainly, leave your comments in the box down below over there. And feel free to hit the like button, the thumbs up, if you think that I deserve it. And then, of course, subscribe if you haven't done so already. We will look forward to catching you in the next one, Nation.
Why is she crying? Did Arlong make her draw those charts in her own blood? Oh boy, the burning questions of One Piece. We'll find out soon enough, Nation.